Oh, please. I wish I would. Now, Taylor, what are you doing? This is some juicy stuff. Welcome to my channel. I'm Nisi. Today we are here to continue our journey of getting to know Miss Taylor Swift and her music, and finally, we are here to react to Evermore. I've had so many people demanding that I sit my butt down here and listen to Evermore ever since we reacted to Folklore, honestly. And if you are new here, Folklore was my very first time ever listening to a Taylor Swift album. So I'm very excited for this today because I've heard that Evermore is kind of like the sister of Folklore, and y'all know how much I liked Folklore, so I'm very excited. The last time that we were here discussing Taylor, it was for my reaction to Tortured Poets Department. How are you guys feeling about Tortured Poets? You know, like, are y'all still loving it? Are y'all still basking in that era? Maybe if you didn't like it before, has it grown on you since? Y'all let me know how y'all feel about Tortured Poets still. And also, let me know where we go from here. What should we be getting into next from Taylor Swift? Because I know that woman has one heck of a discography. So y'all gotta let me know, like, what should I be getting into after this? And if you're new here but you like this reaction video today, consider, you know, joining this journey with us. We would love to have you here. It's been one heck of a journey. It hasn't even been that long. Like, it's actually went by really fast. But going from being like a skeptic of Taylor and not really liking her music to like suddenly really enjoying listening to her has been a little crazy. So, you know, if you want to be a part of that, consider joining. Also, guys, one last thing, I actually just started my Patreon, so if you want to watch me react to these songs in full with a lot more commentary and follow along to the lyrics with me, the link is in the description. Love you guys. All right, is everyone here? Is everyone here? Are we all present and accounted for? Because I know this is the moment that we have all been waiting for, okay? Not just y'all, also me. This is Evermore, the deluxe version. There are 17 tracks here. I don't really know what to expect other than the fact that this is supposed to be folklorish. I'm not really here to compare those two works of, like, you know, oh, well, I don't like Evermore because it didn't do what Folklore did, or like Folklore was better in this way and in that way and in that way. Folklore is so much better. Like, I'm not here to do all of that stuff. I compare them for similarities, but not in terms of which one I think is better or worse. I'm very excited. Are y'all ready? Because I'm ready to go ahead and jump in, you guys. The first song is called Willow. Ooh, see already? I like this little string.
I'm like the water when your ship rolled in that night. Rough on the surface, but you cut through like a knife.
This little guitar? There's a lot of water references.
The more that you say, the less I know. Wherever you stray, I follow. I'm begging for you to take my hand, wreck my plans. That's my man. Life was a willow and it bent right.
That's my man.
There was one prize I'd cheat to win.
Period. Do what you gotta do.
The more that you say, the less I know. Wherever you stray, I follow.
I like that part.
For you to take my hand, wreck my plans. That's my man.
Okay. So first of all, we got this little like sway type of vibe going on. I like this little riff thing that she's doing where she's like, I don't really remember how she does it, but it's a certain like riff that she does on Follow, and also she did it up here with Hollow. I really like that. So far, we are starting off not toxic, okay? It's so crazy doing this after Tortured Poets Department. Why are we doing this after Tortured Poets Department? It kind of sounds like she's talking about the feelings that she experienced at the beginning of this relationship, and probably also currently. It just kind of sounds like she's reflecting on the entire relationship as a whole, including how they met. So up here at the beginning, she says, I'm like the water when your ship rolled in that night. Rough on the surface, but you cut through like a knife. So I have a bit of like a rough exterior. I might be like a little hard on the outside. Maybe I have some walls up, but this person knocked my walls down. They wanted to see who I am inside. They wanted to get to know me from me. So they cut through my rough surface. These are good things. These are good things. Taylor, you know, we were in a good place at this time. It just kind of makes me sad because, like, I want to like go with the vibe of this song, which is kind of like, it's optimistic. I want to go with the vibe, but But then it's like, I know that it didn't last. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna forget about Torture Poets. I like how she's also tying in all these water references, because she says, I'm like the water when your shit rolled in that night. And then she says, like, lost in your current and things like that. Then she says, like, wreck my plans. Like, it's all these, like, little water ship references. Head on the pillow, I can feel you sneaking in. So probably, like, you're in my dreams. And it almost feels like this person is, like, a mythical thing. She said you were, like, a trophy or a champion ring. Like, I'd do anything to win you. I hope that we didn't actually literally cheat, girl. I cheat to win. Let's not be literal. I hope that's not literal. But basically being like, I would have done anything for this. And she did get him because she says, that's my man. And it sounds like she's very proud of it, because she keeps saying, like, that's my man. So she's very proud of him at this moment. So far, good things. Optimistic.
Life was a willow and it bent right to your window.
I like that. That imagery.
Time and time again. Life was a willow and it bent right to your window. I come back stronger than a 90s strand. Wait for the signal and I'll meet you after dark.
This girl's funny. Like, she has, like, these lines sometimes that are looking like a little bit corny, but they're funny. Like, she just always has, like, these little, like, pieces of, like, humor in there. I feel like she did that a lot on, like, Tortured Poets. She's just so silly, bro.
Show me the places where the others gave you scars.
Yeah.
Now this is an open shut case. Wreck my plans.
That's my man.
You know that my train could take you home. Anywhere else is hollow. Hey, that's my man. Yeah, that's my man.
I love that.
Yeah, that's my man. Every bait and switch was a work of art. That's my man.
Like, girl, claim it.
Hey,
Claim
that's
him.
That's my man.
I like how she keeps on saying, like, that's my man. Like, towards the end, she gets kind of, like, playful with it. She's like, hey, that's my man. Yeah, that's my man. Like, she's so proud of it. I like how she talks about how she had, like, this hard exterior and he cut through that. And then how later on she said, show me the places where others gave you scars. So, like, they're being vulnerable with each other and they're opening up to each other, which that is a good sign. Like I said, it just sounds like she's speaking of this relationship that she's in and how she's content with it. She's happy, how much she really wanted him at the beginning. And now, you know, she got him. Maybe like a little bit of mastermind, because she wanted him bad. And then so she moved the pieces, and then she did like this, that, and this, and that, and the third. And then she had like all the chess pieces over here on like that side of the board, and like this, that, 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 that. And then she did the bop, bop, bop. And then she won. Checkmate. She said something about, you know, like, I cheat to win, get the ring, all that stuff. Exactly. She wanted it, she got it, and now she's content. And she's so proud of it that she continues to say, like, that's my man, that's my man. All right, guys. So we start off on a cool, optimistic note. I like how it's like it's just like chill. It's laid back. So I do imagine that this is probably going to give like more of the folklore sound. One thing I was curious about, I don't know what she means by open shut case, because she mentioned that twice. Like in the beginning of the song, she said, and if it was an open shut case, I never would have known from that look on your face. And then at the end, she said, now this is an open shut case. I guess I should have known from the look on your face. I don't really know, but y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all think that she means by that. And one more thing that I wanted to say before I move on, because I know I've been talking a lot. One more thing that I noticed is that I just kind of like how she's sort of painting him as this kind of like force that came into her life. Like he came in and changed everything, because she said wind and current and wreck. Like she's kind of painting him as like this force that came into her life and completely turned it around, which could, I feel like, sometimes sound problematic, but it's actually like a good thing, right? It's a good thing to, like, wherever you stray, I follow, like to follow someone as long as they're worthy of being followed. Bending to someone's wind and following them if you trust them and if you trust your relationship is not always a bad thing. All right. Now, why is the next song called Champagne Problems? Why are we having problems already, girl? We just had this nice, chill, optimistic song, and now you want to already bring some dang problems into the mix. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing with you right now. I'm not playing with you today. All right, y'all. Champagne Problems. And it's slow, like, girl. I like the piano. simple instruments like guitar, piano, but like they sound really nice and
You
soothing.
booked the night train for a reason, so you could sit there in this hurt. Dropped your hand while dancing, left you out there standing, crestfallen on the land in champagne problems. Your mom's ring in your pocket, my picture in your wallet. Your heart was glass, I dropped it. Champagne problems.
What's happening?
Now no one's celebrating. Tom Perry on, you brought it. No crowd of friends applauded. Your hometown skeptics called it champagne problems.
Okay, so far, doesn't it kind of sound like, I don't know why I'm asking y'all, you already heard this song, you already know what this song is all about. She left someone at the altar, in a sense, like she's speaking of it as in like this was some sort of wedding. Like she's talking about your mom's ring in your pocket, your heart was glass, I dropped it, like no one's celebrating the champagne, no crowd of friends applauded. So it sounds like we had plans to have a wedding and I didn't go through with it. Tea. Forget the champagne, honey. This is tea. This is tea problems. I really like the sound of this. It's like very delicate.
Your Midas touch on the Chevy door, November flush and your flannel cure. This dorm was once a madhouse. I made a joke, well it's made for me. How sometimes you just don't know the answer till someone's on their knees and asks you. She would have made such a lovely bride. What a shame she's fucked in the head. They said hold your hand while dancing, never leave you standing, crestfallen on the landing with champagne problems.
Her writing, man.
You won't remember all my champagne problems.
All her champagne problems. Ooh. I like that little thing at the end. That was interesting. Her writing, I've said it so many times at this point, whether it was in my folklore reaction, my Midnight's reaction, my Torture Poets reaction. I've said before her like specificity, the way that she can make it feel so real by the words that she's using. Okay, I have a lot of things to say. Let's go back. Okay, let's shift back to the beginning. So I was very interested in the beginning because she kept saying things that she said in Willow. Like she said, you booked the night train for a reason. And in Willow, she used train as like a metaphor for herself. And then there was something else that she had said too that made me think of the first song. She said, I dropped your hand while dancing. And in the first song, she kept saying like, I want to take your hand. So it was just interesting. So I was like, is she trying to tie those two things? But I don't know if she's doing here what she did in folklore, which in folklore, it felt like some of the songs she's specifically speaking on something in her life. But in other songs, it seems like she's telling a story. Like she's telling someone else's tale. So I'm wondering if that's what this is. This song is about like saying no to an engagement, I think. But it doesn't necessarily have to mean that. You know, like I feel like this song is very relatable in the sense that there are a lot of people in the world who have been with someone and thought, oh, this is the one, I'm going to be with this person. But then as time went on, maybe you just grow apart, you grow into a different person, and maybe you realize, well, something about this maybe isn't for me. Like, even though this person is great and this is a great relationship, I'm not fully in this. And I don't think that I want the same things that they do. It happens. So she could be using a wedding just to kind of paint that story through another lens. But it doesn't actually mean that this situation got all the way to an engagement. So I don't know. Those are just my brain. Those are just the things that I was thinking. This could be just another tale that she's telling, or maybe she's talking about a particular experience. She kind of just like talks about how everyone was ready to like celebrate our relationship and things, but she didn't go through it for whatever reason. I really like this line where she says November flush and your flannel cure. When you look at the album cover, how she's wearing flannel, but also like she's clearly in like a fall setting. It's clearly like fall. I love this part where she says here, sometimes you just don't know the answer till someone's on their knees and ask you. Sometimes that just happens, even though the relationship might seem perfect to others, which is kind of like what she's making it seem like. But maybe it just did not feel right for her, and she didn't realize it until that person was on a knee. And then she talks about like how all the skeptics were right or something, like all the skeptics called it. And it just reminds me of some other songs that she's written, like even on like Tortured Poets and stuff, where she always makes it seem like people of a town or like people in the public are warning someone against her. And then I love how in the end she kind of like turns it around and basically she says, you'll find the real thing instead, and she'll hold your hand. Like she takes things that she said in the beginning where she said, you know, like I dropped your hand, but now this girl, she'll hold your hand, she'll patch up your tapestry that I shred. She'll never leave you standing crestfallen on the landing with champagne problems. And champagne problems is like so interesting because like champagne is tied to celebration, and then there's problems, which is like the opposite of celebration. So it's so interesting that she ties those two things together, but it makes so much sense. And then she says, you won't remember all my champagne problems. Like she paints herself as this big problem. You won't even remember me. Like you'll move on. You won't even remember all this baggage that I have, which again, just reminds me of so many songs of hers. I love how there are so many things that she says commonly throughout so many of her songs. Like I said, like the fact that she's always referencing how the public perceives her and how she's always painting herself as a problem and like things like that. I actually like that you hear that a lot in her music because it shows that she's being real with you, and it shows you like, no, these are actually feelings and emotions that she faces and that she battles in her life. Again, this could be a story that she's like writing for someone else. This could be like another tale, but I imagine that is something that she can still relate to at the same time. I really like this song. We're gonna move on to the next song, which is called Gold Rush. Y'all know I love me some strings. Okay, she's
twinkling eyes like sinking ships on waters.
What? I'm so sorry. I'm pausing already. But like the consistency in the writing, again, I don't even have to say nothing. Just that. Ships on waters. That's it.
So inviting, I almost jump in. I don't like a gold rush, walk past a quick rush. I don't like slow motion, double vision in rose blush. I don't like the falling pills like flying till the bone crush. Everybody wants you.
Go.
I don't like a gold rush. What must it be like to grow up that beautiful? Dinner parties, I'll call you out on your contrarian shit. In the coastal town we wander around, had never seen a love as pure as it. And then it fades into the gray of my day-old cause you could never be. Cause I don't like a gold rush. I don't like anticipating my face in a red flush. Walk past quick rush. I don't like slow motion, double vision in rose blush. What must it be like to grow up that beautiful, with your hair falling into place like dominoes? My mind turns your life into folklore. I can't dare to dream about you anymore, cause it will never be. Gleaming, twinkling eyes like sinking.
Okay, look, this like so far has been the most like upbeat song. I think that this was so interesting like instrumentally because there's like these strings going on, but then there's like this little boom 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 boom. I like this song instrumentally for sure. Okay, I got a few things to say. So this song kind of sounds like she's talking about being interested in someone that everyone else is interested in. You know how scary that is? It's like you know how frightening it is to like be interested in someone that you know is liked by so many people, especially if you're an insecure person. Like if you're an insecure person, which we know that Taylor is, and if you are a person who doesn't always have a very positive opinion of yourself, which we know that Taylor does or doesn't. You are with someone that you know has so many options. It's a terrifying thing because you will possibly never even feel like you're good enough. I don't like falling. Feels like flying till the bone crush. Which I absolutely love that line. Like being like, I don't like falling because like it's so uncontrollable and like it sounds like a beautiful thing because it feels like flying, like it feels amazing until you get your heart broken. But I don't like the gold rush. I've never heard that being phrased like that before. She's always tying colors, so it's interesting that we're using gold. We've talked about this before. Like you guys have told me that with her ex in particular, she would always use gold to speak about him. So I don't know if she's talking about this like in the beginning of their relationship before they were together, that maybe she felt like he was so wanted by so many people. I've never seen a love as pure as it, and then it fades into the gray of my day old tea, which reminds me of vintage tea. Vintage tea, brand new phone, high heels on, cobblestones. When you are young, they assume you know nothing. Yeah, so anyway, because it could never be. Because I don't like the gold rush. She imagines them being together because she said, I see me padding across your wooden floors. Like she was just like painting a picture of what life could look like with this person. And she said, had never seen a love as pure as it. But then it fades into the gray of my day old tea. So it kind of just like, it was a thought that I had. It was a vision that I had, but it faded because it can never be, because I don't like a gold rush. She doesn't even want to take that chance because she's worried about her heart being broken, which is really sad because she doesn't want to take a chance on something that could be beautiful. I really like that song as well. Like I said, I like it instrumentally. I like the way that the song is. All right, the next song is called "'Tis the Damn Season." What is she pissed about? Like, why does that title sound so angry? "'Tis the damn season." Like, it just sounds so angry. Like, girl, what is going on? All right.
If I wanted to know who you were hanging with while I was gone, I would have asked you. It's the kind of cold, fogs up windshield glass, but I felt it when I passed you. There's an ache in you, but there by the ache in me. We could call it even, you could call me babe for the weekend. 'Tis the damn season right this time. I'm staying at my parents' house, and the road not taking looks real good now. I escaped it too, remember how you watched me leave. But if it's okay with you, it's okay with me. We could call it even, you could call me babe for the weekend. I won't ask you to wait if you don't ask me to stay. So I'll go back to LA and the so-called friends who write books about me if I ever make it, and wonder about the only soul who can tell which smiles I'm faking, and the heart I know I'm breaking is my own.
What the heck?
It always leads to you in my hometown.
That song was really interesting, like, sonically. It might be like my least favorite instrumentally. I do like the melodies though, like the way that she's singing it and like the melody in which she's singing it, but like instrumentally is probably like my least favorite. This story that she's talking about, I was so confused for like a lot of it. So it's clearly not good. She's like, "'Tis the damn season," and like at one point she kind of says it with some attitude, and just like the title in itself just has attitude. Like the title sounds angry and like frustrated. Let's try to break it down a little bit, okay? Because I'm still like over here trying to put the pieces together. So she said, if I wanted to know who you were hanging with while I was gone, I would have asked you. And it sounds like when she's saying when I was gone, she's in LA, because she mentions that later. She says there's an ache in you put there by an ache in me, which I don't know if she's trying to say like I'm causing you pain because of pain that I have in myself. Like, you know, hurt people hurt people. I won't ask you to wait if you don't ask me to stay. So I'll go back to LA. If you don't make it clear to me that you want me here and that you want this, then I won't ask you to wait for me. And then she's talking about, you know, leaving. She says, even though I'm leaving, and I'll be yours for the weekend, 'tis the dang season. Like, it kind of just sounds like potentially this could be maybe like a long distance relationship, and it's like non-serious, and like she only sees them sometimes. So maybe that's why she's saying, I'll be yours for the weekend, like just like now while I'm visiting. And like maybe 'tis the damn season is supposed to be kind of like, you know, like a metaphor for a short period of time. Maybe I don't feel completely valued. Like maybe I feel like I'm a bit disposable to you, maybe because you haven't, she's leaving it up to you of like, if you don't ask me to stay, you know, you see what I'm saying? Like my brain is like all over the place, but it kind of just seems like this isn't as serious as maybe she would want it to be. And maybe this is like a very short-term thing. Maybe it's also on and off, you know, like we have a little something and it lasts for a short period of time and then it's over. She just makes it seem like it's a very short period of time that you and me are together. And that is what like season is supposed to be. And it just seems like she's not content with that. And the road not taken looks real good now. I don't know whether that road was supposed to be a more serious relationship, or whether that road was supposed to be maybe not meeting this person at all. And it always leads to you in my hometown. So maybe like this person is constantly around. It feels like she can't escape them. Maybe she's always thinking about them. I don't know. Y'all let me know down in the comments. There's always that song from her where I'm like, I think maybe I'm sort of on to what's going on, but not completely. So y'all let me know down in the comments what the heck this song is about. I like the story, and I like it even more when y'all let me know what the heck it means. All right, we're gonna move into the next song, which is called Tolerate It. All right, let's get it. This sounds sad.
I sit and watch you reading with your head low. I wake and watch you breathing with your eyes closed. I wait by the door like I'm just a kid. Use my best colors for your portrait. Lay the table with the fancy shit and watch you tolerate it. If it's all in my head, tell me now. I know my love should be celebrated, but you tolerate it. I greet you with a battle.
Okay, no. Okay, because now we're getting into the nitty gritty. It's so interesting how she says, I know that my love should be celebrated. And when we listen to Champagne Problems, and it's like a love that was going to be celebrated, but then it didn't. That was just interesting. I wish you would. Because like literally, she does so much for this person. Wait by your door like I'm just a kid. Because she almost like worships this person. She's like, I watch you. Like I intently watch you. I notice everything about you. Everything that you do. I know everything about you. I use my best colors for your portrait. I lay the table out with the fancy ish. So she over here like whipping in the kitchen. She's like laying little like special like decorations and stuff. I wish I would. And this person just tolerates it. Like she feels like she should be celebrated, appreciated. And this person is simply just tolerating her. Girl, drop your oven mitt and walk out the door. You better not one more time lay no fancy table with a little fancy ish.
Take your indiscretions all in good fun. I sit and listen. I polish plates until they gleam and glisten. You're so much older and wiser, and I lay the table with the fancy shit and watch you tolerate it.
Well, then wait!
While you were out building other worlds, where was I? Where's that man who threw blankets over my barbed wire? I made you my temple, my mirror, my sky. Now I'm begging for footnotes in the story of your life. You assume I'm fine, but what would you do if
Talk for it!
in the weight of you, then lose it? Believe me, I could do it. somehow.
Dope.
I sit and watch you.
Ended on that line. I like how she just ends it on just like that random line. And it's not random because it's a line of a lot of significance. Listen, unless you are a person with ridiculous, unrealistic expectations and you're a person who just expects things from your partner that are unrealistic, unless that is you, most of the time, if you are not feeling like your love is celebrated, it's because it's not. If you're a person who's being realistic and fair and you still feel like your love is not being celebrated, it's because it's not. Stop being like, tell me I've got it wrong somehow. Tell me it's all in my head now. Like you're still listening for this man's approval. No. I love this song. I love this song. I love how sad it sounds. I love her like opening it up, talking about like really letting us know how much I give to this person. I watch them all the time. Like I sit and watch them. Then she closes it out on that line. Use my best colors for your portrait. And we know how much this girl loves colors. She's like, waits by your door. Do you understand? Wait by your door? Like, obviously, that could be a metaphor. It doesn't have to be literal. But imagine if it was literal. It means that this person is just sitting in their room with the door closed. And she's just, like, waiting outside. Like, I hope that you come talk to me. I hope that you come outside so that we can hang out. Like, she's a kid waiting for their parent to, like, get up and play with them on a Saturday morning. And I really like how she says, I know that my love should be celebrated. Because we just talked about how, you know, Taylor talks a lot about how she feels like she's, you know, an imperfect person and how she's insecure and how she doesn't always have the highest opinion of herself. So for her to say in this song, well, actually, I know that my love should be tolerated. It goes to show like she does have enough self-love and enough self-respect to know that I deserve this much. I may not be a perfect person, but I don't deserve this. I don't deserve what you're giving me right now. I know that I deserve more than that. And then I love this part where she starts going in, like, while you were out building other worlds, where was I? Probably in the house, setting the table and cleaning up the damn dishes. Where's the man who throw blankets over my barbed wire? So that maybe like he could, is that kind of like a reference to what she was saying earlier of like the person cut through my rough exterior? So maybe she's kind of like tying it again, like barbs have a rough exterior obviously, so maybe she's saying this person threw blankets over my barbed wire so that they could climb over it and get to her. Potentially it could be like a similar type of metaphor. I made you my temple, my mural, my sky. You were my everything. I dang near worshipped you just to be a footnote in the story of your life. Please. That song is pretty freaking self-explanatory, right? Like, you just don't feel valued in a relationship. And yes, girl, you should bounce. Yes, you should skadoodle, skadam, should squabble, whatever the heck they call it. Tolerate it? That is one of my favorite songs on here. The next song is called Nobody No Crime, featuring HAIM, I'm guessing is how you say that. Looks like they're like a girl group, like a rock girl group. So that's like very interesting, considering the sounds that we've gotten so far. Not starting off with the cops.
He did it.
Oh wait, I was not expecting this sound.
Estes, a friend of mine. We meet up every Tuesday night for dinner and a glass of wine. Estes been losing sleep. Her husband's acting different and it smells like infidelity. She said, I think he did it, but I just can't prove it. I think he did it, but I just can't prove it.
Please.
I ain't letting up until the day I die.
Listen to me right now. Y'all know I love when Taylor spills the tea. Y'all know I love when Taylor spills the tea. And you know what, babes? It ain't lost on me that we had the same experience of Folklore. Because remember when Betty came on and I was so into that story? Honestly, I thought that Taylor was busting it open for her friend's man is what I thought that was. But I listened to the rest of the story. And I realized that Betty was actually about something else, about James's behind. And we don't need to get into James because I can't stand James. It ain't lost on me that I heard this little harmonica or whatever. I think that was a freaking harmonica. It ain't lost on me that that's how Betty started, okay? It's a similar sound. This is juicy. This is some juicy stuff. And talking about some no body, no crime. Baby, there's a body. I promise you it's a body. And baby, let me tell you something too. You don't always need a body, honey, because there is such a thing as circumstantial evidence. And if you have enough circumstantial evidence, you can still convince a jury, baby.
SD wasn't there Tuesday night at Olive Garden, at her job or anywhere. He reports his missing wife, and I noticed when I passed his house, his truck has got some brand new tires. And his
Wait a minute.
When I passed his house, his truck has got some brand new tires. And his mistress moved in, sleeps in Esty's bed and everything. Well, there ain't nobody, no crime, but I ain't letting up until the day I die.
Hey, you better fight to find your friend.
A good thing Esty's sister's gonna swear she was with me. She was with me, dude. Good thing his mistress took out a big life insurance policy. They think she did it, but they just can't prove it. Nobody, no crime. I wasn't letting up until the day he died.
Oh, period. Oh, period. Listen to me right now. As a person who loves storytelling and who loves true crime, this might be one of my favorite songs from her. Literally, it might be one of my favorite songs from her. And this, after Tolerated, is just disrespectful. Because I love both of those. I think we get it. I think we see what happened here. I think we see exactly what happened here. And so let's break it down, because Taylor's a ride or die. Esty is a friend of mine. Okay? And they met up every Tuesday night for dinner, and Esty has been stressing because Esty told her, you know what, I think that my husband is doing some things that he shouldn't do, but she just couldn't prove it. She just couldn't prove it. And I love how she like kept that format that she reuses like many times in the song, where she says, I think he did it, but I just can't prove it. Like the fact that she takes that format and she repeated it again. It was Tuesday night at Olive Garden, and she wasn't at her job. She wasn't anywhere. And he gonna report his wife missing like an a-hole that he is. He got some new tires. Oh, you know why he got some new tires? Let me tell you why, bestie. He took her to some sort of area where his tire tracks are. And he knows dang well his tire tracks are there. The police are going to find his tire tracks to be able to trace it back to his freaking car. So he said, you know what? I got to change my tires. So he changes his tires, but you're stupid because you never go out and buy something new right after a murder. You know why? Because you look suspect as F. He moved his mistress in. He moved his mistress in, and it was in that moment that he had to die. If you're a mistress, why the heck are you moving in to this man's white bed so soon? Don't tell me that she's innocent, because she's not. She's not innocent. She ain't cute. You know that he's guilty. You know it. And you're just gonna move right into her bed. Well, you know what? How you get him is how you lose him, baby. And it should have been you next. But anyway, so she said, good thing I got a boating license, and I'm gonna drop you in the Pacific where I know it's hard to find you, and plus water will destroy evidence. This is one of my favorite songs from her. I loved it instrumentally as well. We're gonna move on to the next song, which is called Happiness. Slowing it back down.
Honey, when I'm above the trees, I see this for what it is. But now I'm right down in it. All the years I've given is just shit we're dividing up. There'll be happiness after you, but there was happiness because of you. Both of these things can be true. There is happiness. There's the blood and bruise. I hope she'll be a beautiful fool who takes my spot next to you. No, I didn't mean that. Sorry, I can't see facts through all of my fury. You haven't met the new me yet.
Oh, period. Period. Ooh. See, this is why I enjoy her so much. Like, this is why I love Taylor's music so much. I've never heard anyone have this perspective before. That's exactly why, like, when people ask me, why do you like Taylor's music so much? I get those comments a lot. Like, I don't know if y'all see them. Like, I get comments from, like, other fan bases, like, asking, like, me, like, why the heck I like Taylor's music. Which, some of y'all come at me for liking other people as well. So, listen, double-edged sword, but all y'all need to stop. She writes about things and takes a perspective that I've never heard before. It's an experience that we have all faced. But I've just never heard anyone write about it. And that's why, like, she's just so interesting to listen to. Most times, you know, you'll hear people write about, like, how, oh my God, like, I was so happy with you, and now I'm gonna be so sad and devastated because we're not together anymore. Like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be as happy again as I was when I was with you. But her actually saying now, yes, I was very happy with you, but I'll be happy after you. I'm going to continue to find happiness. I'm going to find it in myself. I'm going to reinvent myself. And baby, you ain't even met the new me yet. There is like some, it's interesting because she's thinking about happiness, but like she hasn't actually reached that happiness yet. Like she's saying, I will have it, but you can see right now that there's still some spite there.
I can't make it go away by making you a villain. I guess it's the price I paid for 7 years in heaven. No one teaches you what to do. A good man hurts you, and you know you hurt him too. After giving you the best I had, tell me what to give after that.
Yeah.
All you want from me now is the green light of forgiveness. You haven't met the new me yet, and I think she'll give you that.
Yeah.
Leave it all behind, and there is happiness.
This is another song with like a super interesting beat. Like, what is going on in the background? It's just like this chaos, like going on in the background. I'm like, what is going on? Okay, I'm confused because I guess it's the price I paid for 7 years in heaven. Isn't that about the amount of time that she was with her ex? So were they still together at this time? I thought they were, because they were still together when she wrote Midnights. Why does it sound like she's speaking of the end of that relationship already? Y'all gotta let me know about that in the comments. I like how she says, like, there will be happiness after you, but she still clearly is not at that point yet where she's there. Because she said, like, she's blinded by fury, and she said, like, your next girl will be like a fool. Like, she says all this stuff, and these are things that you say when you're still spiteful. And it's interesting because later on in the song, she says, what do you do when a good man hurts you? So she can still acknowledge that you are a good man. And so that just goes to show me that the things that she was saying earlier were just coming out of fury. Clearly, if you are acknowledging actually you are a good man, then it does mean that she's just saying things out of anger and out of emotion. When do all our lessons start to look like weapons pointed at my deepest hurt? From this eagle's point of view, from like above the forest, now I'm kind of seeing, well, actually some of the things that you said or some of the things that you did cut deeper than I think was healthy. I love how she goes from sounding like spiteful in the beginning to in the end then kind of being like accepting I'm not there where I can give you forgiveness and where I can be happy, but I know that I will be, because you are a good man. Even though you hurt me, you're a good man, but it is hard because he's good. So there is like so many layers to this song. All right, guys, let's move on to the next song, which is called Dorothea. I'm gonna get another like storytelling, maybe. Who's Dorothea?
Hey Dorothea, do you ever stop and think about me? You got shiny friends since you left town. A tiny screen's the only place I see you now, and I got nothing but well wishes for you. It's never too late to come back to my side. The stars in your eyes shined brighter in Tupelo, and if you're ever tired of being known for who you know, you always know me.
Oh, I like that wordplay.
You're a queen, selling dreams, selling makeup in magazines. From you I'd buy anything. Are you still the same soul I met under the bleachers? Well, I guess I'll never know, Dorothea.
Okay, interesting. So I wasn't completely into that song, like sonically, like the way that it was sounding. I don't know why, it just like didn't really connect with me. But storytelling wise, it seems like she's potentially writing from the perspective of someone who was in her hometown, maybe talking about wondering how Taylor's doing, because she's like this big star now. Got like shiny friends since you left town, and a tiny screen's the only place I see you now. I got like best wishes for you. So she's like not speaking from like a malicious way at all, but she's just saying like, wow, like you really like moved up in the world, but I like miss you. You have stars in your eyes because like you're this big star now, but your eyes shined brighter in Tupelo. Is that what she said? Which is interesting. Like, I wonder if Taylor ever does feel like she felt happier where she used to be. She said just to piss off your mom and her pageant schemes. She like mentions, you know, pageants a lot, like in Tortured Poets. But Daddy, I love him, talking about like pageant girls and stuff. And didn't she come from like a small town, like with Pennsylvania under me? Is that where she's from? I don't really know where Taylor's from. Is she from Pennsylvania? Let me know. If you're ever tired of being known for who you know, you'll always know me. So like if you're ever tired of like these people giving you superficial love, like, because you know they say it's not what you know, it's who you know, loving the image of you and maybe not who you really are, know that I'm always here. And I'm a person who knew who you were before the stars and before the spotlight, before all the glitz and glam. I knew you. Shout out to Cardigan, who has made a couple appearances. Shout out to Cardigan. 'Cause I knew you. We're gonna move on to the next song, which is called Coney Island featuring The National. The National is another American rock band. Okay, period. All right, let's listen to it.
Break my soul in two, looking for you, but you're right here. If I can't relate to you any more, then who am I related to? Did I close my fist around something delicate? Did I shatter you?
That reminds me of the other song.
And I'm sitting on a bench in Coney Island, wondering where did my baby go?
If I pushed you to the edge, but you were too polite to leave me. Do you miss the rogue who coaxed you into paradise and left you there?
The contradiction in their voices.
Sorry for not winning you an arcade ring. Over and over.
Why did that kind of hit?
Lost again with no surprises, disappointments. Close your eyes and it gets colder and colder. The universe away. And when I got into the accident, the sight that flashed before me was your face.
But when I walked up to the podium, I think that I forgot to say your name.
Okay, am I slow? Am I slow? I feel like there's something in there. No, like there's something in what I just heard that ties into something else. And for some reason, my brain isn't working. Am I okay? Like, I feel like this is not the first time that she's talked about an accident. Or am I tripping? Okay, listen. We're just gonna keep freaking listening.
The merry-go.
Sorry for not making you my centerfold.
I feel like there's so much in that song. My brain is like not working. Anyways, I might be thinking way too deeply into that. I just thought that triggered in my brain something, that she had like been in an accident before, and that I had like heard that in a different song, but I might be tripping. So this song is kind of like, in the beginning it was giving me Champagne Problems, because in Champagne Problems it's her walking away from this relationship and her saying like, did I close my fist around something delicate, did I shatter you? And then in that song she said something about shattering your heart. So I don't know if that's connected, but now I'm sitting on a bench in Coney Island wondering, where did my baby go? So like reflecting on the relationship, like the fast times, the bright lights, the merry-go, I guess kind of like realizing what she really lost. Like really realizing that, and it seems like she was maybe the one who did the damage by saying, did I shatter you? So maybe she's like sitting there, she's recognizing that, maybe doing some self-reflection in the fact that it was her fault, or at least that some of it she was at fault for. And then this part, if I pushed you to the edge but you were too polite to leave me, do you miss the rogue who coaxed you into paradise and left you there? And I like how it's saying like paradise, Coney Island. But then it talks about also like forgiving their soul, which reminds me of happiness. Like it's a lot. Like this song reminds me of like a lot of things, and the way that she's writing it and the way that she's speaking about it. But it maybe is not related at all. But yeah, it kind of just seems like sitting there reminiscing on a relationship, missing the relationship, wondering, like a lot of wonder, a lot of questions about what you could have done better, why it got to the point that it did, you know, and maybe there being some like regrets there. The accountability of being able to know that maybe you were wrong, and then maybe you led this person on, maybe you shattered this person, is a hard thing to acknowledge. It's something that a lot of people don't, but we know at this point that Taylor's actually pretty good at taking accountability. All right, guys, so let's move on to the next song, which is called Ivy.
I was one to know I'd meet you where the spirit meets the bones, in a faith forgotten land. In from the snow, your touch brought forth an incandescent glow, tarnished but so grand.
Her vocabulary, man.
And the old widow goes to the stone every day. Oh, I can't stop you putting roots in my dreamland. My house of stone, your ivy grows, and now I'm covered in you.
Ooh. I like the ivy metaphor, you know? Now I'm covered in you. Girl.
He's in the room, your opal eyes are all I wish to see. He wants what's only yours. Oh, goddamn, my pain fits in the palm of your freezing hand. A house of stone, your ivy grows, and now.
Oh. Wait a minute. I'm gonna keep listening. I'm gonna keep listening.
Covered, clover blooms in the fields, spring breaks loose, time is near. What would he do if he found us out?
Yup, I knew it. I started piecing it together. I was confused at the beginning, but I'm piecing it together now. Girl, please. High infidelity. My pain fits right in the palm of your freezing hand. Taking mine, but it's been promised to another. Roots in my dreamland. Like, yeah. It's kind of like Ivy in the way that it just like takes over. Like maybe she doesn't want it to, because she obviously would want to do the right thing, which is staying to the person that she promised herself to. But like the Ivy, it's like Ivy where it just like grows and kind of just like takes over. That's interesting too, because she said my house of stone. So to me that kind of makes it seem like maybe she's saying that the relationship that she's currently in just like doesn't make her happy. Like maybe it's stone and it's cold, and she was saying like I have all this pain. Like maybe she's just saying my relationship that I'm in right now, it's hard and it's cold. and your ivy is growing all over that house.
He's gonna burn this house to the ground. I was one to know I'd live and die for moments that we stole, unbegged and borrowed time. Stop you putting roots in my
That's kind of a vibe.
dream. You started it.
How you gonna blame
You
him?
started it. So yeah, it's a war. It's the goddamn fight of my life, and you started it. You started it.
Girl, you were a willing participant. Kind of a vibe. Again, this might be another one of those tales that she's telling, like she's like telling another tale. Might not actually have happened to her. In a faith forgotten land. A faith forgotten land. So she's definitely saying in a place where unholy things are happening. And the old widow goes to the stone every day. What does she mean by that? Maybe by widow, she's saying that she already kind of feels like her relationship is dead. So is she referring to herself as a widow? And she goes to the stone every day, which would be the house that they have. Then she said the house of stone. So like she goes back to this dead relationship every day. It's just so high infidelity. Just talking about how like you're just not happy in the relationship that you're in currently. And then this person comes along and like, do I really have to tell you where I was April 29th? Do I? Do I have to tell you how his ivy was growing all on me? Do I have to tell you and drink my husband's wine? Married. Y'all are married. This is a full commitment. I can't condone it because I have to be consistent in my convictions, and I can't condone what I was refusing to condone in Nobody No Crime. That was another good song. It was also kind of like a vibe too. I didn't catch the vibe at first, but later on I kind of caught the vibe. All right, we're gonna move on to the next song called Cowboy Like Me.
And the tennis court was covered up with some tent-like thing. And you asked me to dance, but I said dancing is a dangerous game. I've got some tricks up my sleeve. Takes one to know one. You're a cowboy like me. Never
Kind of a vibe.
telling all the rich folks anything they wanna hear, like it could be love. I could be the way forward only if they pay for it. You're a bandit like me.
What a vibe.
And the skeletons in both our closets plotted hard to fuck this up. But that was all before I locked it down.
Yeah.
Forever is the sweetest haunt. I had some tricks up my sleeve.
Something about that, like instrumentally, that was like a vibe. Like, that was kind of a vibe. I'm not even gonna lie. And I totally got the little like cowboyish vibe, you know? This is a very interesting song. Like, very interesting. Like, my thoughts are all over the place. She meets this person, right? She said, this is gonna be one of those things. Now I know. I'm never gonna love again. I've got some tricks up my sleeve. Takes one to know one. You're a cowboy like me. Never wanted love, just fancy car. So it kind of sounds like she's saying that she met someone who is maybe like sort of materialistic or kind of like money hungry like she is, and like they have that in common. She's saying telling all the rich folks anything they want to hear. Like, it could be love. I could be the way forward, only if they pay for it. You're a bandit like me. Because she may be speaking of like people in her management, people that she's met at the top, like rich folks. And then she's saying you're a bandit like me. Like, you and me are both in on this scheme that we're playing, this con that we're playing, which she says later. But then she said, eyes full of stars, hustling for the good life. Like I said, like they both are kind of like interested in money. So hustling for the good life. Never thought I'd meet you here. It could be love. We could be the way forward, and I know I'll pay for it. So like at first she's kind of like making it seem like it's a farce, like I don't want love. But then eventually it gets to the point where it sounds like she does want love. And she's saying this actually could be love and we could be the way forward. But I'll pay for it. Like maybe like saying, you know, her heart's on the line and she could get her heart broken. She could end up paying for it eventually. Forever is the sweetest con. I've had some tricks up my sleeve. Takes one to know one. You're a cowboy like me, and I'm never gonna love again. So is it maybe a thing where like she didn't think that she was gonna love this person because she said in the beginning, I didn't want love. And then it looks like she did have hopes that they could love, but forever is the sweetest con. And like they both had tricks up their sleeve. It takes one to know one. So maybe they're saying like they both hurt each other in some sort of way. And now it's over and she's never gonna love again. That is confusing. Y'all gotta give me y'all's perspectives on this song. I think I'm most confused about the part where she's saying like telling all the rich folks anything they want to hear. At first I thought that she was talking about her fame, like lines like I said, her management and stuff. And, you know, making them feel like I could be the way forward. Like I could be like a big star only if you pay for it or whatever. And that's how she's like hustling for the good life. But like, y'all gotta let me know, okay? Y'all have to let me know down in the comments, because if you can't see, if you can't tell, I am all over the place with this song. Let's move on to the next song, which is called Long Story Short. All right.
Faithfully, I tried to pick my battles till the battle picked me. Misery, like the war of words I shouted in my sleep. And I fell from the pedestal right down the rabbit hole. Long story short, it was a bad time. Pushed from the precipice, clung to the nearest lips. Long story short, it was the wrong guy. Now I'm all about you. I'm all about you. I always felt I must look better in the rear view. Missing me at the golden gates they once held the keys to.
I like how she has like these little lines, like she's starting to tell the story. Like she's like, I fell from the pedestal right down in the rabbit hole. And she's just like, listen, like cut the rest of that. Long story short, it was a bad time. Because we don't need to sit here and harp about why it didn't work out with the other guy. Long story short, he was the wrong guy. Why are we even worried about him or thinking about him? It's about you.
No more keeping score. Now I just keep you warm. And my waves meet your shore ever and evermore.
Evermore.
Past me. Long story short, I survived.
Yeah, I think that song is pretty self-explanatory. It's actually ironic because usually, you know, when Taylor's like storytelling, like usually she goes into this whole story, she's giving you like specifics and like she's telling you exactly what happened, when it happened, where it went down, who was around, who saw it, then who said what, and then who told their mama this, and then whose mama said that, like literally. But in this one, she's just like, long story short, it was the wrong guy, and I moved on. Like, it's actually ironic that she's like, listen, we're going to kind of cut the storytelling in this one. She said, like, if anyone comes at us this time, I'm ready. Like, insinuating that in her previous relationship, she had, like, other interference. So, yeah, that's a pretty, like, self-explanatory song. Long story short, pretty self-explanatory. It was a cool song. It was more, like, upbeat. Because a lot of this has been like more like mellow, more calming. That one was like very like more so upbeat. The next one is called Marjorie. Interesting sound.
Never be so kind, you forget to be clever.
Exactly.
Never be so clever, you forget to be kind.
Why does this kind of sound like Why have I been blanking so much on song names today? The song where she's talking about basically never take advice from someone who's also broken. Like, doesn't it sound like that? Like, she starts off by like giving advice, which is what she does like all throughout that song.
If I didn't know better, I think you were talking to me now. If I didn't know better, I think you were still around. What died didn't stay dead. You're alive in my head. What died didn't stay dead. What died didn't stay dead.
No way!
Never wield such power. You forget to be polite.
I love how she's saying that and then flipping it around. That's so smart.
What died didn't stay dead. What died didn't stay dead. You're alive, so alive. The autumn chill that wakes me up. You love the amber sky so much. I should have asked you questions. I should have asked you how to be.
Aww.
Asked you to write it down for me. Should have kept every grocery store receipt, 'cause every scrap of you would be taken from me.
Okay, can we freaking talk about the I should have asked you questions, I should have asked you how to be? Like, I don't really know who she's talking about. I think that y'all said before that her like grandma passed. Did I hear that from y'all? Where did I hear that? Maybe it wasn't even Taylor. Whoever this Marjorie is, like the fact that like she clearly looks up to this person, because she said, I should have asked you how to be, and then ask you to write it down, because that's how much I value your word and your advice. Your advice literally rings in my head. Should have kept every grocery store receipt, because every scrap of you would be taken from me. My God.
You're alive in my head. And if I didn't know better, I think you were
Not singing.
singing to me now. I know better, but you're still around.
I'm gonna look up Marjorie and see if I find something. A tribute to Swift's late maternal grandmother and opera singer, Marjorie Finlay. So she was an opera singer? An opera singer, girl? That's why at the end, like in the end, it kind of sounded like opera-ish. I kind of thought maybe it was kind of like maybe like a church choir type of voice, because we are talking about someone who has passed on. But that might actually have been like an opera voice. This song is like clearly about like loss, and it's a tribute to her grandma, which is so sweet, so beautiful. Just that tribute, and a song that obviously anyone could use, anyone can relate to when speaking of like if you've had a loved one who's passed away, being able to just like feel them still around, even though she says like I should know better because you're dead, but like this person, you still feel their presence and you still feel that they're around you. Maybe they are. If you feel that comfort, don't reject that comfort. Just like believe in it, listen to it. Let's move on to the next song, which is called Closure. Now Taylor, what are you doing?
It's been a long time, and seeing the shape of your name still spells out pain.
What is going on in the
Wasn't
back?
right the way it all went down. Looks like you know that now. Yes, I got your letter. Yes, I'm doing better. I know that it's over. I don't need your closure. Don't treat me like some situation that needs to be handled. I'm fine with my spite and my tears and my beers and my candles. I know I'm just a wrinkle in your new life. Staying friends would iron it out so nice. Closure.
That beat was very interesting. It was very interesting, and I would like to know why it sounded that way. I would like to know, because I can't think of like on a conceptual level what would make it sound like that. Y'all let me know if y'all think that y'all know. That song kind of reminded me of Happiness. She mentioned spite, right? And she like basically it's kind of making it seem like I'm going to move on, so I don't need your closure. And that's what she was talking about in happiness. Like, yes, I was happy with you. Yes, you made me happy. But like, I'm also going to be able to move on without you. Like, I'm also going to be able to find happiness on my own. There are a lot of people who say they don't need closure. I've never understood those people. I wish that I did not need closure, but I do. And maybe she's lying. Like, I feel like she is kind of lying, because it's the way that she says it. Like, I don't need your closure. Like, it kind of sounds like a little bit like denial. She said, I'm fine with my spite, right? So it kind of sounds like, I don't need you. She just doesn't want to seem like she needs anything from this other person. I know that a lot of people try to argue that closure isn't real. You know what? Do whatever you need to do. But for me, I need it. And maybe potentially for Taylor, she needs it as well. Maybe she's lying to herself. I don't know. We're going to move on to the next final song on like the original track list, which is called Evermore featuring Vaughn, Iver, and I really like their last collab, so let's see how this one goes. It's another sad, slow song. We are down bad in this pandemic.
Gray November, I've been down since July.
Oh, the birds.
Motion capture put me in a bad light, and I was catching my breath, staring out an open window, catching my death.
Oh,
And I couldn't be sure. I had a feeling so peculiar that this pain would be forevermore.
why did that hit?
I rewind the tape, but all it does is pause on the very moment all was lost.
Come on, Vaughn.
Cannot think of all the cost, all the violence of the dog days.
Right?
I'm on waves of being tossed. Is there a line that I could just go across?
And when I was shipwrecked, I thought of you to get me through. I swear we can just go across there. I had a feeling so peculiar, this pain wouldn't be forevermore.
Would it be? I love their collabs. I love their collabs. I love his voice. I love how their voices, whenever they're singing together, their voices always like intertwine, and like they sing on top of each other with like lines that they had stated before, and like they go back and forth, and I love how they do that. Absolutely love his voice. So this song sounds to me like the ending of a relationship, and that moment when you feel like it will always hurt, and just like constantly just like reminiscing on it and thinking about it and thinking about where it went wrong and where you went wrong and where they went wrong and everything like that, and feeling like this will never go away. But then in the end of the song, she gets closure, which is so interesting because she just said that she didn't need it. I finally feel like this pain won't be forevermore. And you do always get to that point. There's a point in here that kind of sounds like it has like a lot of references to Willow. I'm on waves out being tossed. Is there a line that I could just go cross? And that's what he said, right? So I think that they're doing that thing again where like they're playing opposite perspectives. To me, that reminded me of Willow, where she was saying like, you know, you came in on rough waters. You were ship on rough waters, but you cut through me like a knife. And so that like low-key just sounded like that. And then she said, when I was shipwrecked. So I'm not saying that those two things actually tie. I just think it was really interesting that it took me back to that part. I just love their collabs. So like Evermore and Folklore, I feel like are sort of kind of hard to follow a chronological story because of the fact that she's also like low-key like telling tales and stories. So this song to me feels like it ties into other sad songs in the album. Willow felt personal to her, and I feel like it's probably about her current relationship. Like Happiness felt personal to her. Evermore felt personal to her and her story. Tolerated felt personal to her and her story. And like when you think about all those songs and all that hell that went through, like that story of like how that relationship just like flipped her up and down and side to side and all over the place, to then have Evermore put like that bow on it at the end of like, you got through this and eventually you were going to be happy again and you were going to get over it, I think is like a great way to end it. I loved his voice. He was like singing in like this high register. I also like how she was doing like the time thing. Like she was talking about like July and then November, and there was another song where she mentioned November, but I can't remember which one, and like December, like her literally just like laying out the times for you, and she keeps on mentioning like cold and winter and all. That's just interesting because you look at the album cover and again, like it's giving fall vibes. She's like in something to like keep her warm, and she mentions that all throughout the project, so I just think that that's really smart. That was a great way to close it. But we're now gonna go to the bonus tracks, 16 and 17, right where you left me. Let's get it.
Friends break up, friends get married, strangers get born, strangers get buried, trends change, rumors fly through new skies, but I'm right where you left me. I'm still at the restaurant, still sitting in a corner I haunt, cross-legged in the dim light, they say what a sad sight. They expected me to find somewhere, some perspective, but I sat and stayed right where you left me. You left me, no.
I mean, relatable.
Did you ever hear about the girl who got frozen? Time went on for everybody else, she won't know it. She's still 23, inside her fantasy, how it was supposed to be. I'm sure that you got a wife out there, kids and Christmas, but I'm unaware, cause I'm right where I cause no harm, mind my business.
Kids and Christmas, girl, you let this man, you have been sitting at this restaurant for 9 months and some change, over and over, like a couple of 9 months over, and you still sitting at the same restaurant with your hair pinned up, girl.
You left me no choice but to stay here forever.
This is crazy. Okay, so like obviously she has not been sitting in this restaurant for years because they would have kicked her behind out, clearly. However, I do like how she's like giving you that imagery so you can help understand more what she's talking about and like really understand the gravity of it. She's basically just saying, I know that you moved on and like you're probably married with kids, like you moved on with your life, but I can't move on. It's really hard for me to move on and for me to create a life of my own because I just keep on still thinking about my life with you. She says, help. That kills me. Help, I'm still at the restaurant sitting in a corner I haunt, cross-legged in the dim light. And everybody moved on, but I'm still sitting here collecting dust with my hair pinned up, like, because I can't move on from you. That's a cool song. I like the little I thing that she's doing. I don't really remember how she did it. We're going to go to the last song, which is called It's Time to Go, another bonus track.
When the dinner is cold and the chatter gets old, you ask for the tab. Oh, that moment again, he's insisting that friends look at each other like that. That old familiar body ache, the snaps from the same little breaks in your soul. You know when it's time to go.
Oh, you do.
Sometimes giving up is the strong thing. Sometimes to run is the brave thing. Sometimes walking out is the one thing that will find you the right thing. I gave it my all, he gave me nothing at all, then wondered why I left. Now he sits on his throne in his palace of bones, praying to his greed. He's got my past frozen behind glass, but I've got me when it's time to go.
Bro, that line, that now he sits on his throne in his palace of bones, Because, like, he was probably narcissistic as heck. Like, probably felt like, you know, he's, like, this king and only really thought about himself and not what he was giving to her. And you're sitting in your palace of bones because that's how many people that you've ruined. That's how many people that you've hurt. You're just sitting in a palace of bones praying to your greed. Not even praying to something higher than yourself, but praying to your greed because you are still just that greedy.
We'll find you the right thing.
No.
Find you right there.
I feel like Closure, Evermore, Right Where You Left Me, It's Time to Go, like, makes so much sense kind of being like clumped together because they all are like about the end of a relationship, right? Now, like, she's basically saying, you know when it's time to go in the relationship because you've been hurt so many times that you feel that familiar ache, that those familiar breaks in your soul when you just know that it's time to go because this is breaking you down too much. These two songs to me I feel like make sense being like the bonus tracks because I feel like these are kind of like things that she like lightly touched on but didn't really necessarily like really go into. So it makes sense that these are like bonus tracks that she just like put on the outside. Like sometimes giving up is a strong thing, to run is the brave thing so that you can actually find what is actually meant for you. And that's so true. I don't know what 15 years is about. Again, she could just be telling someone else's story. I don't think that she was ever with someone for 15 years. Hi, so now that I'm sitting here and thinking about it, I was wondering if this song could actually be about Taylor's experience in the music industry. I think that a lot of these songs could be. I'm not sure when she had that issue with Scooter Braun. I don't know if that was before or after this album, but I think that the song could be about just like issues with her management and industry stuff. And she realized that she needed to get away from that, and her finding something better would be her striking out on her own, taking her power back, coming out with Taylor's version, stuff like that. Just a thought. Basically, it's literally just about like any relationship, like whether it's romantic, whether it's friendships, whether it's like familiar relationships. Like if you feel like it's time for you to go, you need to go. Sometimes it does deserve the fight, but sometimes it doesn't. Okay, and like the key is knowing what that line is. Guys, we have reached the end of Evermore. The end of Evermore Deluxe version. This did remind me so much of Folklore in terms of like the little stories and like the sounds of them as well. There was a very interesting sound today. Some a lot more interesting than others. And this is why sometimes I get like confused, you know, when people say that all Taylor's songs like sound the same. They don't. I think that they have like a similar production style, which maybe might make them sound the same, but like the sounds themselves are just not. Like the first couple of songs, I really like the instruments. Like they were simple instruments, but I just like really like the vibe of them. I love the sound of Cowboy Like Me. I love the storytelling again was still there. The little stories, the little tales, the like way that she's able to express her feelings in a way that you've never heard before and give you a different perspective than you've ever heard before, like happiness. Storytelling in songs like Nobody No Crime, which is still one of my favorites. Absolutely. Nobody No Crime is like so good. There was a lot going on in Cowboy Like Me. Again, I need y'all to let me know what the heck is going on in Cowboy Like Me. I love the little tribute to her grandma and Marjorie. Like it was just like, it gave me Folklore in the sense of like, this is just such an interesting listen. I don't understand. I just don't understand how she's constantly thinking and able to portray all these emotions I didn't even realize that I had, you know? It's like emotions that you didn't realize that you had or never knew how to put into words, that maybe like your heart felt it, but your mind didn't know that you were feeling it. And she knows how to like put it into words and let you know, this is what you're feeling. Because this is what I'm feeling. And I'm gonna let you know what I'm feeling. And in turn, you're gonna realize that you felt that way as well. I'm gonna tell you guys my favorites. My favorites were Champagne Problems, Gold Rush, Tolerated, Nobody No Crime, Ivy. I forgot to like Cowboy Like Me, Marjorie, and It's Time to Go were my favorites. Those are my favorites of the favorites. I don't hate any songs in here. Like I said, there were some sounds that like I wasn't like completely into sonically. There were some songs where I was like, not really into that song sonically. But I like all these songs for like the story of them. How do y'all feel about this project? Y'all have had it for a while now, so you already know how y'all feel about this. But just let me know how you feel about Evermore, you know, how you feel about it in like comparison to Folklore. There also felt like there were a lot of songs in here that like tied into other songs. Y'all probably gonna be in my comments letting me know there's another freaking triangle that I missed out on. Like I said, I feel like I definitely do feel some comparisons between the songs. Like I feel like I said that. I felt some comparisons. I can make some callbacks, but like I'm sure that there are probably things that I missed. So y'all let me know exactly what I'm missing out on, because I just know that y'all have a whole entire novel of things that I missed. Thank you guys so much for being here, for watching this video with me, for experiencing this with me. Like I said, if you have not been here before, if you're new here, stick with us for the rest of this Taylor journey, because we still have a lot to go. We've only reacted to, this is our 4th album of hers at this point. God, that went fast. This is our 4th album from her at this point. Y'all gotta let me know what to do next. I've heard a lot of like Reputation, but I also hear that 1989 is like very popular. I don't know, y'all gotta tell me. But anyways guys, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys later. Love you guys, bye.